Hello Stampers, Michelle Zindorf here. Thanks for joining me. I have a pretty little card for you today, and this time I'm using a Seaside Wishes stamp set. And it is just a beautiful stamp set. It's new to Stampin' Up. And we have some Starfish and some sand dollars, and we have some other items here that are great for making water. So we're going to be doing this background, and I'm bringing in a brand new embossing folder too. This is the So Swirly Embossing Folder, and that's how we're going to get this great texture here in our water. So I'm going to get started on our background here today, and we're going to start with a basic white panel. Now you can find all the dimensions for this card down below this video. Just click more under the description. You'll see them listed there along with all the products that I'm using today with the links that'll take you directly to my online store. So we're going to start with our lightest color for our water here, Coastal Cabana. And we're going to be using a few of these stamps here. You can probably see them better this way. There's 3 different stamps, and I just put them all on one block to cover more area. And this is going to give us like that little bubbly look that you get in water. This can also be used for rocks on a rock wall, I'm thinking. So I'm just going to add some around this cardstock. And then I'm going to switch up colors here. And I'm going to go to Lost Lagoon. Using that same stamp. And I'm going to overstamp around these. This is all going to create that water texture. There we go. So we have those in there. Now I'm going to take that Lost Lagoon and a blending brush. And I'm just going to lightly go over this background with that Lost Lagoon. Just putting a little bit on my brush here. And then going over the panel. There we go. And then I'm going to change colors here. And I'm going to add some Azure Afternoon because I want some of that pretty blue going through this. So I'm just going to add some here and there. Kind of spread it around, but leave plenty of that, those other colors showing through. There we go. Stamp our Starfish. I'm going to stamp this little starfish with pecan pie. And I want him to be under the water. So I'm going to stamp him first. Now if you want this darker, you can overstamp it. See how that turns it darker. So remember that when you're stamping these, if you have a darker background and you need those images to be a little darker, since you can see through them, you can line them up perfectly and just overstamp them. Okay, so now I'm just going to run this through the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, and I'm going to use this embossing folder. Look how large this is. This is a really large embossing folder. This is great for scrapbooking or making any kind of 3D projects where you need a texture. So I'm going to put this on here, and I'm going to have it facing up. And I have it facing up towards the Stampin' Up logo, and now I'm going to run it through the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. Okay, so I've run that through the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine here. And as you see, it's got this pretty texture going through it. Now you could leave it like that, or you could add some more color to it. And I'm just going to lightly use direct to paper. So I'm going to take my stamp pad and I'm just going to lightly drag it across. And it's going to add some color to those raised portions of our panel. So it brings them more to life. There we go. I think I like that. Isn't that pretty? So that's an easy way to make that water. And next I want to stamp our large starfish that's going to go on here. I'm just going to stamp it on a piece of scrap basic white. And I'm going to stamp this with Cajun Craze. So I'm just going to give it a stamp. And I want this really dark so it pops out. So I'm going to overstamp this. There we go. Let's have that good and dark because ink tends to dry 2 shades lighter. So it may look like it's extremely dark right now, but it will look like it's a few shades lighter here in a few moments. Now you can die cut this using the coordinating dies, and I'm going to show you the die set. If you get the bundle for the Seaside Wishes, you're going to get this hybrid embossing folder that does the sand dollars, and then you're going to get the dies that go with it. I'm just going to fussy cut mine out, but you can certainly use the die for it also. Sometimes I just like to fussy cut so I don't have any white edges to this. And that way it looks like it's more into the scene. So I'm just going to cut this out real quick. Tell me, what do you think about fussy cutting? Is it something you enjoy doing, or do you always reach for your dies? Do you not mind that little white strip on it? There we go. We got our nice starfish all cut out. And I'm just going to adhere this with some multi-purpose glue here to our main panel. I'm try not to put so much that it gushes out. We don't like that gushy stuff, do we? Okay. See which way I want to put this. I'm going to put that at the top there. There we go. See how that just pops there on that panel. All right. So now I cut 2 pool party panels. These are 4 by 5 1/4. One's going to go inside of our card, but then one will be for our background on our front of our card. And I'm going to emboss that with that same embossing folder, the So Swirly Embossing Folder here. So I'm just going to take this over to my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, run it through, and I'll be right back. All right, so we have that all done. See, it's even pretty just by itself. I can see using this a lot. I think this will be great when you want to even act like you have some wind blowing through a scene or whatever. You could use it for that also. So, okay, so we have that panel. Now I have my Cajun Craze card base here. It's 5.5 by 8.5, and then I folded it in half to create my quarter card. I'm just going to use my bone folder there to get that crease down. So there's my card base, and I'm going to add this embossed piece of pool party here. On top of the card. It's going to line it up nicely here. I'm just going to turn it over and kind of give it a rub, and that helps lay that panel down nice on your card front, just giving it that extra little smush there. And this one is going to go on the inside. Now you can put any sentiment you want in this. I love these scenic cards because they can be used for so many different occasions. I'm just going to add this on the inside. Line it up there. There's the inside of our card. Now I'm going to add this piece of Cajun Craze here, and it's 3 1/4 square. And I'm going to add it about 3/4 of an inch from the top and over to the left side a bit. And then I'm going to add this panel here. And this panel, I don't know if I said, is 3 1/8 inch. And I'm going to line this up so that it's the same distance over here as it is over here for that Cajun Craze. Kind of get it on straight there. I'm going to flip it over, give it a rub. Got that texture going on again. So there is that design. So we're moving right along here. So now I wanted some ribbon to coordinate, and I decided to use this black and white, it's black and very vanilla check ribbon. I'm just going to take a piece of this, just enough to tie a bow with. And I wanted to add some color to it so it would go along with my project today. So I decided to use the Dark Gloss Lagoon Stampin' Blend marker. I'm going to use the brush end, but I'm going to use the side of the brush end so I don't ruin my point on my marker. And I'm just going to rub some of that on the ribbon just to get it to coordinate. Super easy way to get some of that color in your ribbon. And I'm just going to, see it colors the other side too. Isn't that nice? So I'm just going to make this into a bow now. Give it a tie, make it a little smaller. There we go. And I'm going to flip it over here because I've got a nice square knot here on the front. I need to trim my little legs here. And now I have my cute little bow to go on the front. Now I'm going to take some mini glue dots. I'm going to add one to the back of my ribbon, right where the knot is. Just press that on there. Then I'm going to add it to my card. And I think I'm going to add a couple of these dots. I'm going to add one under each of the little legs for my bow here. It didn't stick to my card. There we go. And that way it's easier to put in your envelope. You don't have those little legs wanting to stick every which way out. Keeps everything nice and in place. So there is that. Now I want a couple more embellishments here. So I brought in some rhinestones. And the basic rhinestones, boy, you get a lot in a pack. I'm just finishing up one pack that I've had forever. Seems they just last and last and last. And I'm just going to use a point of my scissors and add a couple of these down here, just for a little bling on our card. And let's see, let's put one right there. One here. And we'll add one right here. Maybe I've got one large one here I'm just going to use because I want to use up this pack. And we'll put it there. So there's our little bling. Give it a little shine there. And that is our card. How about that? All done. It goes by super fast. Now, the one I did earlier was a little darker. I kind of like this lighter version. But, you know, 2 of my cards never turn out the same. There's our project for today. I hope you enjoyed this project and that you give it a try. Thanks for joining me. Toodles.